Vegas on this Sunday night. And now here in Arlington, the Washington Redskins are ready to take on the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. It opened in 2009. About 90,000 expected tonight. Good matchup. Robert Griffin III and his Washington Redskins into town to take on Tony Romo off his record-setting performance last week and his Dallas Cowboys on NBC's Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoy, a couple of questions to be answered tonight. Can the Washington Redskins get some traction and gain some momentum? And can the Dallas Cowboys rebound from that brutal loss last week at the hands of the Denver Broncos? Now, the Redskins started 0-3, then beat Oakland 2 weeks ago to go to 1-3. Come off a bye week, and RG3 is making incremental progress, just 9 months removed from major knee surgery. Then there are the Cowboys, 2-3, and a team still tough to get a read on. Everybody talking about Tony Romo's interception at the end of the game last week. Came at the wrong time, of course, led to a Denver victory, threw for over 500 yards. But still, you give up 51 points, as the Cowboys did, you're not going to win a lot of football games. So, Chris, as you look at this team now, week 6, what's your read, your take on the Dallas Cowboys?
I think you hit it. You know, it's been a mixed bag so far, but Tony Romo, despite the interception, off to one of his best starts. His offensive line is definitely better with Brian Waters in the mix now. DeMarco Murray's healthy. Terrence Williams is a big play guy that they haven't had. But they brought in Monty Kiffin to change this defense for the better. And at least so far, and especially the last 6 quarters, that hasn't happened.
Right. They've given up over 1,000 yards in the last 2 games to San Diego and Denver. Tonight they look at RG3, at Robert Griffin. How does he look to you after the first 4 games?
Well, he's thrown for over 300 yards in 3 of his first 4 games, so that part's good. But we haven't seen the explosive plays, those incredible scrambles that we saw a season ago. But they're coming off of a win. They're coming off of a bye. We talked to him last night. He's excited. He feels better than he has at any point, and he expects big things on this stage tonight.
One of the best rivalries in the NFL. They've been locking horns since 1960. Dallas, Washington on Sunday Night Football.
Waiting all day for Sunday night.
NBC Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
The up-to-the-moment standings in the NFC East. Philly won today, beat Tampa Bay 3-3. Dallas could tie them for the top spot with a win tonight. Washington tries to go to 2-3 with a win here tonight. The Giants are 0-6. Jason Garrett has been the head coach here since midway through the 2010 season. Just moments ago, he spoke with Michelle DeFoy.
Coach, one of the big defensive priorities in the offseason was new coordinator, Monty Kiffin, the 4-3 change. Got off to a good start, but really struggled over the last couple of games. What specific areas of improvement do you need to see tonight?
Well, we faced two good quarterbacks the last couple of weeks, so the pass defense has to get better. These guys challenge a lot of different ways. It starts up front.
Washington beat you twice last season. Tonight, what elements of the game must change in order for you guys to win?
Well, we have to take care of the football. We have to go get the football. They're pretty dynamic on offense. We have to control the quarterback and that running game. We simply have to execute on offense.
Coach, thank you.
Have a great night.
And on the injury front, the Cowboys get back wide receiver Miles Austin, who missed the last 2 games with a hamstring injury, and also linebacker Justin Durant, who was out last week with a groin injury. Washington will see kicker Kai Forbath back for the first time since the opener. He's been sidelined with a groin injury. And running back Alfred Morris will start. He bruised his ribs a couple weeks ago against Oakland. He told me he would wear padding over those ribs, though not a flak jacket. But he told me if it were up to him, he wouldn't wear any protective gear over his ribs. He thought it was bulky and uncomfortable in practice, and he really prefers to feel the football right up against his ribs when he's running with it.
All right, thank you, Michelle. He is a big component in their offense, of course, because last year he gained 300 yards in the 2 games against the Dallas Cowboys. Kai Forbath, Michelle talking about the groin injury. So he's only kicked in 1 game. That was the opener. Dwayne Harris, a good average, 28.4 on 7 kick returns. Forbath missing 3 games and then the bye week, and did not do a lot of kicking off during the week. And this one is 8 yards deep and will be downed in the end zone. So Harris won't bring it out. And let's take a look at that Cowboy offense that scored 48 last week.
Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois University.
DeMarco Murray, Oklahoma. Dez Bryant, Oklahoma State.
Miles Austin, Monmouth University.
Jason Witten, Tennessee.
James Hanna, Oklahoma. Tyron Smith, USC.
Ronald Leary, University of Memphis.
Travis Frederick, Wisconsin. Brian Waters, University of North Texas. Doug Freed, Northern Illinois University.
Frederick, the center, their #1 draft choice. Waters had been retired. They brought him back a couple of weeks into the season. And Romo starts by giving it to Murray. And Murray will pick up a first down on the first play of the game as he's tackled by Brandon Merriweather. So a good start on the ground for a guy averaging 4.8 per carry this season.
Tyron Smith, the big stud up front for the Dallas Cowboys, playing left tackle, going to blow this one open. But watch the hit by Merriweather on the tail end of it. Tyron Smith just blowing out Stephen Bowen, the former Dallas Cowboy, to start this game.
Gain of 11 from the 31-yard line. We'll call Murray's number again. Through the middle he goes. Gain of 1. Tony Romo ties his shoes. We can take a look at what he did last week. Don Meredith had held the team record for 50 years. And then Romo eclipses it with 506 and 5 touchdown passes. But, of course, at the end of the day, you get an L instead of a W.
Still just the 5th player ever in NFL history to do that. 500-plus passing yards and 5 or more touchdowns in a game.
So Mike Shanahan now in his 4th season as the Redskins head coach. 2nd down and 9 from the 32. Romo out of the gun. Sliding to his left. There's Witten, and Witten close to a first down. London Fletcher covering him. One veteran covering another, and he's close to a first. They'll spot him just shy 3rd down.
The Redskins really hurt the Cowboys, knocked them out of the playoffs last year with blitzing. So what they're going to do here is leave those 2 tight ends in for at least a moment or two, try and solidify the protection, make sure they're not getting hit with those same sort of blitzes, and then escape out late there as Jason Witten did.
Witten catches his 29th pass of the season, tying him with Bryant for the team lead. It's 3rd down and inches now. And this is Murray over the left side again, and this time he appears to be, as they unpile, a little bit short of the first down. The Redskins so signaling to the bench. Walt Anderson is the referee, and he's going to bring in the chain gang.
Kyle Bosworth lines up at fullback. Let's see how close to or across that line they get. It's going to be very close, clearly across the line. Bosworth really not much of a block on the edge there.
They don't have a true fullback, so Bosworth forced into double duty there. And Anderson says first down.
The yellow line's pretty good, isn't it?
Very good. That's one of those
tip.
That's one of those tie goes to the runner things.
Yeah.
As the stick is right there at the nose of the football, and a first down 2 minutes into the game.
Well, I tell you, I really think this offensive line has improved during the course of this season. Bringing Brian Waters in has just matured and settled this group up front.
Short drop by Romo. Dumps it underneath to Murray, and Murray takes the ball to the Washington 43 as we take a look at the Washington defense.
Kedrick Golston, Georgia. Barry Cofield, Northwestern University.
Stephen Bowen, Hofstra.
Ryan Kerrigan, Purdue.
London Fletcher, John Carroll University.
Perry Riley, LSU.
Brian Arakpo, University of Texas.
D'Angelo Hall, Virginia Tech.
Reed Dowdy, Northern Colorado.
Brandon Merriweather from the U. Josh Wilson, Dirty Turk, representing the Math Academy.
So 3 first downs for the Dallas Cowboys on this drive. They've run 5 plays, and Murray's been involved in 4 of them. 3 rushes and a reception. And Romo going deep and then falling down at the 23-yard line. Contact made there. Terrence Williams had a big game last week against David Amerson. So 2 rookies with a flag down at the 33-yard line. Here's Anderson's call.
Holding, number 39, defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Second-round draft choice out of NC State, David Amerson with the hold.
We had a pick 6 the last time out. Top of your screen here, you're going to see the hold by Amerson. He's a guy with a world of talent, still learning. Terrence Williams on the other side had a huge game last time out, and that deep threat that Tony Romo has longed for around here.
From the 38-yard line. Play action. Romo slings it incomplete. Witten coming back. And it's second down. That Redskin defense and their defensive coordinators, the former New Orleans head coach Jim Haslett, very porous. Remember on opening night in the Monday night opener against Philadelphia, Chip Kelly's team, showing its new offense, ran 53 plays against this defense in the first half.
And what London Fletcher tells us, we were the guinea pigs. Nobody had really seen the full-blown effect of it. When we came out, we had to defend 53 plays on opening night. They were clearly humbled that night.
Fell behind to Oakland 2 weeks ago 14-0, but then held them at bay the rest of the way and scored 24 unanswered points. Big hole there, but a nice tackle made from behind. Perry Riley able to stop him from behind at the 34-yard line. It'll be third down and 6.
Well, turnabout's fair play, I guess. Tony Romo with a little read option here. If RG3 can do it, I can too, although Romo really is not looking at the defensive end, so I think he's just carrying out the play fake. A read option, Romo would be looking at the defensive end outside linebacker in this case, but he was just doing a handoff.
Quasi. Read option. Third down and 6. I learned that from Jason Garrett at the Princeton. Romo from the gun. Dallas already 4 first downs on this, the opening drive of the game. Play clock at 1. And underneath, and he goes to Witten, who breaks a tackle, still on his feet to the 20-yard line. Goes the venerable one, broke away from Amerson. Jason Witten, good as ever in his 11th year.
Well, I think what happened is the Redskins saw the extra protection, got Witten in the backfield back here, so they check out of their blitz. So that frees up Witten. Now he just has to break 1 tackle. He does, and picks up a big first down. Tough to blitz against 7-man protections, and by just showing it, the Cowboys are really solidifying the group up front.
From the 20-yard line. Cowboys started this drive at their own 20. Good protection again. And then coming back to make the catches, Williams, and spinning away for a moment, taking it to the 8-yard line. Rookie third-round draft choice from Baylor, where he played with RG3.
This may be one of the most improved players in the NFL. Terrence Williams, watch him come back to this football. This is something that since coming to the Cowboys and learning under Tony Romo, and company, this young man has become a very complete player. At Baylor University, they didn't even have a route tree there, as we've been told. But he has really spent his time doing his homework and working on the finer details of his craft, and it's showing up now the last few weeks.
Had an 82-yard touchdown reception in last week's game. Pistol again. They run that same play again. That quasi-read option flag comes in. To the 5-yard line goes the runner Murray. And the Redskins.
Illegal hands to the face, number 50, defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
The Redskins assess their second penalty. This one coming to Rob Jackson, who's coming back from a 4-game suspension.
Well, really, the strength of this Washington Redskins team are the 2 outside guys, Arakpo, Ryan Kerrigan, and the nose tackle, Barry Cofield. That's where they're going to have to be able to control the game. But so far, Romo has kept them off balance to the point that the pressure has not gotten there.
10th play of the drive, a balanced drive, 4 rushes, 5 passes, and 6 first downs on the drive. 3 receivers to the left, give it to Murray, and Murray takes it in for the touchdown. So the Dallas Cowboys picking up pretty much where they almost left off last week. Not that last drive, but Romo leads them 80 yards to the touchdown.
Watch the veteran Brian Waters here. Secure the double team up on the linebacker. There's your cutback. There's your touchdown. The old veteran has been around for a long time. Elbow not down before the ball was across the line. Good call. What a difference Brian Waters has made for this offensive line. Has really settled that group up there.
Touchdown confirmed upstairs. Dan Bailey. And Chris Jones's hold for the extra point. So perfect start for the Dallas Cowboys at home. 8:52 left in the quarter. 7-0. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You can find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Verizon, America's largest 4G LTE network. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. Well, on Friday night, this took place just outside the stadium. Jerry and Gene Jones, first outdoor work to the Dallas Cowboys art collection. Sky Mirror, designed by the famed sculptor and artist, Sir Anish Kapoor. And there he is, sitting to the camera left of Gene Jones. Roger Goodell is there, the commissioner of the NFL. And they just keep adding to this most spectacular of sports venues.
Becoming the best art gallery in Texas.
It's amazing. Touchback off the foot of Dan Bailey, and the Redskins will take it at the 20 as you look at Steimer. We go to a break at 7-0 Dallas. Mike Shanahan, 14 years at Denver, then a year off, and now 4th season as the Redskins head coach. One NFC East title that came last year when they went to the playoffs and did it by knocking off Dallas on closing night in Washington. So here go the Redskins from the 20-yard line. They start with a play fake, and the pass is caught over the middle and a 19-yard gain to Leonard Hankerson. Emerging now, he's pretty much established himself as the number 2 wide receiver, and they're going to go no huddle here. So right to the line goes RG3, who said to us last night, I'd like to go no huddle all the time. Out of the pistol plus. Running around, RG's going to run with it, stays in bounds, and then goes out of bounds. So RG with a little bit of what he did last year, getting around DeMarcus Ware for a big gain, a gain of 15.
Uh-oh, here's one of those explosive runs that we haven't been seeing. I think that bye week's done him some good. Not much of a limp at all. If anything, maybe just because of the brace. But if he can start doing that again, look out.
So they come out no huddle, 2 big plays to get it started. Ball at the 46-yard line. He rearranges the set here. And then hands the ball off And that's Alfred Morris with those bruised ribs from a couple of weeks ago. DeMarcus Ware making the tackle, gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
Every time I think I've seen all the read option can do, now they're starting to lead through with 2 backs coming through and the threat of RG3 going around the edge. And DeMarcus Ware, who chased it in circles a year ago, with a much better understanding that time.
Halfway through the quarter, Redskins with their first possession, 2nd and 7. Swing over the outside goes Morris, and what a great tackle it is by Sean Lee, the 4th-year linebacker out of Penn State, the sure tackling Sean Lee. 3rd down.
Well, if they can't get this block, if Chris Chester can't get there on Sean Lee, the Washington Redskins won't win this game. Sean Lee probably diagnoses plays as quickly as any young linebacker I've seen in this game. He knew immediately where it was, beat Chris Chester to the block, and came up with a big play.
3rd and 7. Roy Hello Jr. is now in the backfield, coming in on 3rd down and flanking RG3. Cowboys show blitz. Here they come. Pass caught over the middle. That's a 1st down taken by Jordan Reed, a great-looking rookie out of Florida. They love him. 3rd-round pick. 1st down.
And Robert Griffin was telling us he lobbied hard for this guy. Look at the moves from the tight end position. Ultimately, because of all the option stuff that the Redskins do, you're going to get some man coverage. So they went out looking for a tight end that could win those battles. You saw some of the quickness there. This young man is going to make a difference on this team.
Now Moss sets up and takes a backward pass with the ball alive as it was in the air. Tackled by Lee. Let's take a look at the Redskin offense.
Robert Griffin III, Baylor University.
Alfred Morris, Florida Atlantic.
Darrell Young, Villanova.
Pierre Garçon, Haiti.
Lyndon Hankerson, the U.
Logan Paulson, UCLA.
Trent Williams, Oklahoma.
Corey Lichtensteiger, Bowling Green State University.
Will Montgomery, Virginia Tech.
Chris Chester, Tustin High School.
Tyler Columbus, University of Colorado.
Meanwhile, Ware needs a breather early on. Kyle Wilbur will take his spot. Cowboys this year with Griffin, with Monty Kiffin going to a 4-3 setup. And Griffin throws, sidearms it to Reed. And the rookie tight end making his mark on this opening drive, taking it to the 20 where he's tackled by Bruce Carter. 1st down.
Well, anytime you end up in man coverage right here on the tight end, if your lineman can go get him on a screen, you're going to have a big play. That time the block was not made, but Reed athletic enough just to escape from Claiborne for a big one.
Ware comes back in. This game starting out like a bit of a track meet. Cowboys go 80. Redskins have gone 60 thus far in the drive. Give the ball off to last year's rookie sensation, Alfred Morris. Let's take a look at the Dallas D.
George Selby, South Florida.
Nick Hayden, Wisconsin.
Jason Hatcher, Grambling State.
DeMarcus Ware, Troy University.
Justin Durant, Real HU, Hampton.
Sean Lee, Penn State.
Ernie Sams, Florida State. Brandon Carr, Grand Valley State.
J.J. Wilcox, the Georgia Southern University.
Barry Church, Toledo.
Orlando Scandrick, Los Angeles, California.
And as the Redskins come up to the line of scrimmage, this time Griffin under center, at least for the moment, for the first time. Play clock down to 2-1, and they just do get the playoff. And they give the ball to the hard-charging Alfred Morris, who takes it to the 10-yard line. Morris, a 6th-round draft choice, played for Howard Schnellenberger at Florida Atlantic. Of course, Mike Shanahan knows about 6th-round draft choice running backs. He had a guy by the name of Terrell Davis who did fairly well out of the 6th spot in the draft.
And here's a 4.65 guy, but the reason he plays is what you just saw there. Jason Hatcher had him for no gain, but he's big enough, strong enough to break that tackle and pick up the 1st down.
1st and goal from the 9. And Griffin will throw it to Morris, and then he drops it. Started to turn around. DeMarcus Ware put the pressure on that time. Coverage on the play by J.J. Wilcox, rookie out of Georgia Southern. 2nd and goal.
One of the problems the Washington Redskins have had offensively this year is sustaining drives. When they played the Cowboys a season ago and Rob Ryan was the defensive coordinator, it was all about trying to make big plays. This defense forces you to sustain drives, not make mistakes like that.
Second and goal. Morris. Nothing doing. Runs into a bunch of white shirts as he crosses the 10-yard line. Third and goal.
You know, nothing is ever perfect. And that time, Jordan Reed, who's the excellent receiving tight end, was no match for the future Hall of Famer DeMarcus Ware, who has now seen this read option enough to say, all right, that's time for me to go get a few of them.
They're asking the crowd to get more into it. Boy, Hello is in the backfield flanking Griffin on third down and goal. Moss goes to the slot on the right side. Griffin's going to run it. And Griffin's going to be taken down inside the 2. Sean Lee saves the touchdown. So what does Shanahan want to do early here on a 4th and goal from just outside the 1-yard line?
I'll tell you, Sean Lee, watch the play he makes here. He has to jump around this block and stop RG3 short of the goal line. That is just fantastic linebacker play. The play was perfectly set up. There was no reason Will Montgomery couldn't have made that block, and Sean Lee just made a better play.
And Mike Shanahan will opt for the 3 points as the ball is spotted at the 2-yard line. Forbath kicking for the first time since opening day. Out for a month with a groin strain. And the kick is good. So a 20-yard field goal after the drive bogs down. 7-3 Dallas. Log on to that site, NBCSports.com Live Extra. A lot of great stuff. Michelle with social media reports. Mike Florio, you can chat with him. Guest analyst tonight is Mark Rippon, who led the Skins 2 decades ago to a Super Bowl win. You can ask Mark about football or about golf.
I think you could take him out.
I don't know about that.
Nice. He's 30 strokes.
That's right. Thank you. I appreciate that. He's good. He's real good. Kai Forbath to kick off. Dwayne Harris awaiting a potential return. And this time he will bring it back from 7 yards in. But not very far. And he gets decked by Brian Keel as he crosses the 15. Cowboys with the ball and up by 4. Last week in this stadium, 51-48, the final wild game. Cowboys' first team in history to score more than 45 and then lose at home. Romo 506. 5th time he's had 400 or more passing yards, but he's lost all of those games. And Jerry Jones, the owner of the team, said at one point last week it was a moral victory, and of course everybody parsed that to death. Jerry basically saying, hey, look, I saw enough good things. Maybe we'll get on a roll after this, in effect. Well, tonight they're up 7-3, and Romo will check it off underneath, hitting Murray to the 21.
I don't think Jerry Jones is a dummy.
No,
I think
not.
He saw his quarterback was going to be under siege for that interception as usual. So what does he do? He comes out and he says that he played one of the great games I've ever seen. He comes out and he says we have a moral victory. So now he at least splits the headlines the next day.
No question.
It's only half Romo throwing the interception, the other half on Jerry. He knows how to work.
Jerry can take the heat off as well as anybody I've ever seen. 2nd and 5. And the pass to the outside is caught. Forward progress might net a first down. Let's see. That's Des Bryant making the catch. D'Angelo Hall is there. He does have a first down. And this is going to be a real good battle tonight. Bryant emerging as one of the great receivers in the league, and D'Angelo Hall has been around a long time.
And we have seen some interesting mix-ups between those. It starts with a leg kickover to start this wrestling match. The last time we saw them in Washington, Des drew back his fist as if he was going to strike D'Angelo Hall. Held up. It was a good thing, too.
Final few seconds of the quarter. And this time it is caught by Bryant. Hall is there. We have a penalty. Both penalties in the game to this point have been called on the Redskins.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, late hit to the quarterback, number 56 defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And that's Perry Riley, so all 3 penalties tonight against Washington.
Well, they're trying to bring the pressure off the edge, and just an extra step here is going to cost them the penalty. I'll tell you, you can't give this offense any breaks with the way they're playing right now. I mean, this bunch put up 48 points last week, come down and score the first one, and you hand them one to start.
And they wind the clock as they spot the ball. It's the end of the first quarter. The score: Dallas 7, Washington 3. And Sunday Night Football continues after these messages.
Waiting all day for Sunday night.
Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. That is the Texas State Fair in progress right now. Big Tex is the symbol, powered by the Cotton Bowl, where yesterday the annual Texas-Oklahoma battle, and Texas upset the Sooners. From the 48 on first down, this is Des Bryant, only gaining a couple, taken out by D'Angelo Hall. So Bryant gets picked in the first round, came with a checkered background, 4th year out of Oklahoma State, but they picked him, suspended his last 2 games at Oklahoma State, comes in very immature and all of that, but we've seen him progress to the point right now where I think he really gets it, or is beginning to really get it.
You know, it's one of the enjoyable parts of this job is you get a chance to see young 21-year-olds who were handed their first big check and how they handle it, and eventually how they grow with that whole thing.
Here's Cole Beasley, who lunges for what might be a first down, but the head linesman comes in to spot it just short. And it will be 3rd down and a short 1.
But, you know, this Des Bryant now, 16 touchdown catches in his last 13 games. He got hot at the end of last year, and now 6 touchdowns to start this season. And these added weapons around him, the guy you just saw, Cole Beasley, drew a double team on a long pass that he caught a week ago, and now when Terrence Williams, big plays. So as the talent gets dispersed, the more opportunities he's going to get.
Put Bosworth in as the fullback, and he paves the way for Murray, and that'll be a first down, taking it to the 40-yard line.
Well, this time Kyle Bosworth gets it done, gets through to the fullback, up inside, and provides just enough. You know, we're really seeing, for the first time in a long time, the Dallas Cowboys going to more of a one-back system. DeMarco Murray has handled the great majority of the carries. There has been a long time around here that they've used 2 backs to sort of share the load. No more. DeMarco Murray's the man.
From the 41-yard line, toss to him. Swinging to the outside. He's able to knife his way behind Waters for a gain of 6. 2nd and 4 at the 35-yard line.
Well, Brian Waters, the guy who's going to lead the way on this one. Great Pro Bowl player, has been around. They say that their pass blocking drills in practice have completely changed since Brian Waters got here. That he finishes plays, he takes guys and drives them in the ground and elbows them and finishes them off. And guys like Doug Free and Ron Leary and Travis Frederick, the young guys up there, have been watching this and going, well, that's how you get to the Pro Bowl.
Meanwhile, Murray limped off. Joseph Randall, a rookie, is in the backfield, and the pass is dropped. It's a little low and behind Miles Austin, who has missed the last 2 games with a hamstring pull.
Yeah, and you have to be careful now if you're Tony Romo, because the Washington Redskins, and they've gotten him in a couple of games in the past. You remember the game in Washington last season. They showed Tony Romo a couple of blitzes he had not seen before, and he threw interceptions on both of those plays. So now I just get the feeling they're setting the hook a little bit for Romo. They're starting to give him a couple of easy hot reads underneath. Be careful a London Fletcher or somebody doesn't try and grab one running the other way.
On 3rd down, tip in the air, intercepted by Rob Jackson. And Rob Jackson, who had a huge interception that sealed the game on closing night last year in Washington, picks off Romo, only the 3rd interception of the season. Well, Tony. Washington with the ball. On the 25th of October, the new season of Grimm arrives just in time for Halloween. Grimm returning Friday, October 25th, right here on NBC. So the first turnover of the game. Washington starts from the 37-yard line. And Griffin to the outside to Pierre Garçon. And Garçon, who's caught more than 7 balls per game this season, picks up 9. Back to the pick we go.
Well, here's what they're doing, trying to create the hot read and then run Perry Riley underneath Jason Witten, who's usually the hot receiver. Just so happened that Josh Wilson able to get his hands on the ball and deflect it in the air. Romo was throwing it to the right guy that time. You just can't watch everything. You're watching all those linebackers running all those different directions, and here comes the corner and tips it.
2nd and 1. Toss. Morris to the 49-yard line. So, of course, you had that playoff game against Seattle last year and all of the craziness that followed it. Should he have been in the game? Should he not have been in the game? Remember, he was hurt toward the end of the season. Kirk Cousins came in, did a great job. Then RG came back, let him do a win against Dallas. Got hurt in the Seattle game. And, of course, the final blow resulted in him being on the operating table. Mike Shanahan took an enormous amount of heat. Dr. James Andrews, team physician, got involved in it. But back he comes from rehab 9 months later. And here he is playing his 5th game. He did not play at all in preseason from the 49-yard line. Nothing. What a great play that was by Jason Hatcher. Hatcher just bursting through and making sure that he didn't get out of the backfield. Loss of 4.
Well, on these stretch plays, sometimes you can go back door in behind the pulling guard. This time, Corey Lichtensteiger. And Hatcher just able to get there. Hatcher is bigger and stronger than Corey Lichtensteiger is. Lichtensteiger, one of those great hustle effort players, probably the 2nd best lineman on this team. But you have to be careful of athletic plays like that.
Well, that was Wilson, the man who tipped the ball that was picked off, who gets attention on the bench, and then they run a draw, and that doesn't fool anybody. Morris taken down to the 45-yard line. George Selvey is there. And it will be 3rd down and 14.
Well, it's interesting watching Robert Griffin before the game playing out there without his knee brace on, and he started going, oh boy, is this the one? He's going to leave it on. He goes, no, they're making me do it. But he drop kicked a field goal with that right leg from about 30 yards out, so I think he's feeling better.
I think he's trying to show everybody that he can play without it.
That's what he'd like to do.
But the training staff and the doctors, 3rd and 14, and that's tipped and incomplete. So Washington cannot capitalize on the turnover, and Romo will get the ball back very shortly.
It's kind of interesting on that one. Roy Halou, their 3rd down back, came out, and it was almost like Griffin had to throw it over his head. Got it a little high. Lucky that one wasn't intercepted.
Sav Rocca, so many years in Australia, playing Australian rules football. Several years with the Eagles. And the Redskin punter, Harris, is back to receive, setting up at the 15. The Cowboys looking like they're trying to set up a block. And a fair catch is called for, and then Harris is just going to let it go. And it takes a nice Cowboy bounce, and then it bounces off B.W. Webb. And the Redskins feel that they have the ball.
No doubt.
Yep, it's Reed Dowdy who comes up with it. And again, if it hits a Cowboy first, and that's the discussion right now, then it's a live ball. So it's one of those things where the ball bounces backwards, and you can see that Webb is not even looking at it. The next thing you know, it's off his body, and the Washington Redskins are going to wind up with the ball.
Yeah, the only slight controversy here is, you know, the whole thing of going out of bounds first.
The player was blocked into the ball. There is no recovery. It's 1st down. Timeout.
So Dallas will get it as he was blocked into the ball. They get a big break, a big one, 7-3. As we come back after that last play, Mike Shanahan took the challenge flag out. He was ready to challenge, but you can't because this is a judgment call. And the officials said that the player Webb was blocked into the ball. You can see that. In effect, too, in the rule book, it says if the player is being passive, which you tell me if he is or he isn't. It looks like he is, and then he gets blocked into the ball by Jerome Murphy. It's a judgment call, not challengeable. So Shanahan upset, but that's the rule. And away we go with Dallas ball at the 24-yard line. And Romo stepping up and dumps it. And it's juggled and then caught by Joseph Randall, rookie 5th-round pick out of Oklahoma State.
You know, there's been so many changes for the Washington Redskins over the years in their defensive secondary, and it's been the same case again this year. Bakari Rambo, a 6th-round draft pick, started the year playing the safety position, but now they're back to Brandon Merriweather and Reed Dowdy. Sometimes they take Josh Wilson, move him into safety, so it's sort of a recurring nightmare at free safety for the Redskins. They just can't find that guy.
2nd and 6. Romo to the outside and gets away with it, boy, as Des Bryant is there, and D'Angelo Hall, who's always looking for the football, almost had a pick.
Great corners have the ability to look at the quarterback and at the receiver at the same time. He saw the short set, and if that throw didn't bring Des Bryant back a good 2 or 3 yards, D'Angelo Hall would have had his 9th return for a touchdown.
Paul telling us last night he's a classic ball hawk. He says, I don't even tackle the guy. I tackle the ball. He was looking for the ball there. It's 3rd and 1. Philip Tanner is the back here, and he gets the handoff and is close. 5-10, 2:08. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, he's in there because DeMarco Murray has a left knee sprain and right now is questionable. He's been taken back to the locker room for further evaluation, which leaves them with 2 running backs, Alan Murray, who was so productive on that first drive, right now questionable to return.
And that has been the case with Murray, Michelle, over his career. You can see him. That was his last carry. He limped off, and now you've got Tanner and you've got Randall. And there he is, Randall, the rookie out of Oklahoma State. Lance Dunbar would be the backup back, but he's hurt and inactive tonight. On 1st down, Romo throws, and that's dropped as it's a little bit behind Jason Witten, and the flag is down. In the offensive backfield, because Riley came in.
Illegal hands to the face, number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
That's Travis Frederick, who is their #1 draft choice rookie center from Wisconsin.
Old Pittsburgh Steelers cross blitz inside, and this is where the Redskins hurt them a season ago, blitzing these 2 inside linebackers. You can see the hands to the face by Travis Frederick, but if they start having success again, they will not go away from that. Jim Haslett has a reputation of he keeps flipping through his blitzes until he finds one that works, and then he tends to stay with it.
And you saw Riley whack Romo, kind of play that could have drawn a flag. 1st and 20, set up a screen. Randall looking for room and takes it to the 35-yard line. Fletcher slowed him down. 7 minutes to go in the half, and it will be 2nd down and 9.
Well, Jim Haslett, a guy that is very emotional guy, as a player, as a coach, wherever you want to go. There's some classic footage of this guy playing the game of football. But after the start that they had, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles gouged them on opening night, then the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. So this team just starting to settle down a bit now on defense.
5 wide. Romo excited about empty sets in practice this week, and he gets one here, but can't pay off as Jason Witten can't make the catch. The ball is thrown low. Riley covering. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Well, Tyron Smith, one of the top tackles in the game right here, going against Brian Orakpo, who is an excellent pass rusher. But Tyron Smith's kind of the guy nobody's talking about right now. They're talking about the improvement of Leary and Frederick and Waters inside. Doug Free much improved at right tackle. And Tyron Smith just kind of keeps humming along here as the guy they've always been able to count on.
They're taken for granted, basically. Yep. 1st-round pick out of Southern California in 2011. As the play clock expires on 3rd and 9, Romo is going to go deep into double coverage, and it is incomplete. Ball hit the ground. That's E.J. Biggers, picked up from Tampa Bay in the offseason. Nickelback Incomplete, 4th and 9.
Well, you really have to put that one on James Hanna. He so completely missed the block on the protection. Romo had to try and just make a play. Comes over here and just an immediate swim move over the top of him here. Almost cost the Cowboys an interception. Loose throw from Romo, though.
Left-footed punter Chris Jones to send it down toward Joshua Morgan. And Morgan will field with a man right in his face at the 14-yard line. A little dangerous there, but he gets away with it as he brings it to the 22-yard line. A little over 6 to go in the half. 7-3 Cowboys. Well, a great rivalry tonight and another one Saturday. USC and Notre Dame. NBC Sports Network starts its coverage at 6:30. The game 7:30 on NBC. SC Notre Dame from South Bend. Prime time next week.
I might be there.
Yeah. We'll be in Indianapolis next week. A short trip. Ball to 23. After the punt. Griffin under pressure. Able to get out of trouble, but a flag is down. Leonard Hankerson makes the catch. And now you got DeMarcus Ware has to come off as he pulled up.
Number 66. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
And it's Chris Chester with the hold to make it 1st and 20. And that's bad news right there for Dallas.
Oh, that's worse than bad news. Watch DeMarcus Ware coming off the edge, and he just does something. We're not going to speculate on what. But we saw RG3 being RG3 right there on that one as well. That is big news for the Dallas Cowboys. If they have one surefire Hall of Famer on this team, that's it.
There was the hold right there. So Kyle Wilbur comes in. Again, this year going to the new defense with Monty Kiffin, the 4-3, and they're missing a lot of very key parts. 1st and 20. And RG says, snap it already, because the play clock was at 0. Spins away, and the pass is incomplete. He's 2nd down and 20.
How about a little NBC at 360 here? Sean Lee, the reason that we don't have a tie score at this point in the ball game. Quarterback draw after a nice drive by the Washington Redskins. Will Montgomery really has Sean Lee dead to rights here. He makes a relatively simple block. They score. Lee makes him completely miss and then tackles the elusive RG3 in the open field. Save 4 points.
That defense, Jay Ratliff hasn't played this year. Anthony Spencer's on injured reserve. Tyrone Crawford, good-looking young defensive lineman, hurt in training camp. Ware on the bench right now. 2nd and 20. Griffin slides away and then open over the middle and making the catch. Garcon takes it to the 29-yard line. So they get out of big trouble, turn a 2nd and 20 into a 3rd and 4.
Well, this is the best I've seen from Robert Griffin III. Working the pocket, working inside the pocket. Nice big base there, shuffles his feet, gets a throwing lane, and picks up a big gainer there to give him a chance on 3rd down now.
3rd down call at 5. At least Ware is up for the moment. Roy Halou is in the game. Got Reed setting up on the left as they stack their receivers. And Griffin will throw underneath, and the catch is made, and that'll be a 1st down as Pierre Garcon, who spent so many years with Peyton Manning in Indianapolis, picks up a 1st down.
Boy, I tell you, the defensive line now without DeMarcus Ware, it cannot be any thinner. I mean, they've got guys they pulled off the street as the season was starting this year, basically on the field playing now. So many injuries up front. Jay Ratliff, Anthony Spencer, Tyrone Crawford, and Monty Kiffin's got to be wondering, what the heck? I'm going to have to go down and suit up myself here pretty soon.
Yeah, new system, everything. And we give the ball to Morris for a short gain. Here's Michelle.
Well, Jay Ratliff is eligible to come off the PUP list this week. I spoke with Jerry Jones before the game. He told me the team would be sitting down this week to determine Ratliff's future. He told me it's been a real challenge not to have him, and the thought of not having him in the future would be a real setback. But Al, my interpretation, based on Jerry Jones' body language and his tone, is that Jay Ratliff will not be playing for the Cowboys anymore.
Yeah, that is the feeling, Michelle, as you watch Ware go back to the dressing room. So Spencer gone, Crawford gone. Talking about Ratliff probably not playing. It's all speculation. And we're back in the dressing room. 2nd down and 7. And that is tipped and incomplete. 3rd down. Garcon, the intended receiver, covered by Brandon Carr. 3rd and 7.
You know, it's really interesting, Al. They took a chance with the 32-year-old Jay Ratliff. He was going to be such an integral part of this defense. And you think back to Warren Sapp and playing in Monty Kiffin's defense in Tampa Bay and how important that position could end up being. Anthony Spencer as well. But they passed on Sharif Floyd in the draft, decided to go with Fredericks. And you just wonder, is it possible they could have had both?
3rd and 7 from the 40. Blitz coming. Griffin hit as he throws. Tipped and should have been picked off and incomplete. Barry Church was there first. Brandon Carr was next. An almost pick instead of punt on 4th down.
What do you do when DeMarcus Ware goes out? You start to blitz and you bring your best player. I think Sean Lee has become this team's best football player. Comes on the blitz, gets in the face of Robert Griffin, hits his arm, gets a floater, and Barry Church has to make this play. I mean, you just have to make that play. There aren't many free floaters down the middle of the field. You got to make it.
There's a flag down. Rocca's kick is bouncing at the 12-yard line and coming back and down to the 16-yard line, but a penalty marker back at the line of scrimmage.
Illegal motion, number 45, offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Dallas has elected to replay 4th down.
All right, that's Jerome Murphy. They'll take their chances again. RG last year, 5 or more pass rushers, a blitz. Last year, he was blitzed very little. Only Matthew Stafford was blitzed less. This year, about 3 times out of every 7 passing plays, they're blitzing them.
Well, here is the key number. You make them pay when they blitz and they quit doing it. And so far this year, they haven't really been able to do that. I think the option had a little something to do with it, too. Put you in some man coverage situations on the back end, but so far it hasn't been the same.
And this is Dwayne Harris fielding it to 14. And Harris with some room. And Harris out in front. A flag, though, is thrown at the 40-yard line, and Harris is into the end zone. But a penalty flag at the 40-yard line of the Redskins. Coming in the middle of the run back. So while the crowd exults, the flag came down right next to the Redskin bench, and Walt Anderson will make the call.
This is an interesting call.
Very.
This is an interesting call.
Well, the Redskins are saying, come on back.
Unsportsmanlike contact to an official on the sideline on the Washington bench. By rule, that foul will be enforced on the kickoff. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Yeah. Oh, man. Contact with an official. There's Garrett hugging the touchdown maker. That's an 86-yard return. And one thing Garrett said is our special teams have to beat theirs.
Right. There is the mix-up right there. And when you walk out there into the white of the field, that is a penalty. You have to get back. You see, I think that's Mike Shanahan getting out of the way, but one of the assistant coaches there or somebody got in the way, and it's going to add 15 more on the kickoff.
Dan Bailey for the extra point. Whoa. Go figure that one. Cowboys doing so. 14-3. Keith Burns is the special teams coordinator, so thus he was as close to the field as he could get, and he is the man who's charged with the penalty here. Here we go.
And don't forget that that was the second kick. Give Jason Garrett credit. He could have tacked on that 5 yards beforehand, decide to have him re-kick, and so often you see it, the second kick leads to a touchdown. Now do the Cowboys take a chance here and try and squib one or do something or just kick it out? I like this play.
Short kick fielded on the run at the 9-yard line. This is Miles Paul who gets upended. Popped by Devontae Holloman. 2:23 left in the half. 14-3 Cowboys. So where are we next Sunday night? This is must-see TV. Here it is.
This town and this team means so much to me. It truly has been an honor to play in Indianapolis.
I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming. Back where I belong. Hey, I never felt so strong. Hey, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home.
That schedule comes out every year, and we look at it. And that was number one. We saw Denver at Indianapolis. We go, whoa, got to be there.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, the fans of Indianapolis never really got to give a proper send-off to Peyton Manning. I have a feeling that is going to be one very emotional night.
That's next Sunday night, the unbeaten Broncos against Andrew Luck and the Colts. Meanwhile, you got Santana Moss taking the pass to the 34-yard line, tackled there by Carter as we tick down to the 2-minute warning.
Santana Moss working the slot like he's done for a long time, getting close to 700 receptions and 10,000 yards. Both of those just a few ticks away.
From the 34. The pass to the outside. Halou Jr. And just to finish up on that penalty on Keith Burns, the special teams coordinator. An assistant coach cannot be on the white, on the chalk of the paint, whatever you want to call it. Thus, it was a penalty. Third of halftime coming up. Broncos and Chiefs stay unbeaten. Tom Brady, late heroics. And the Saints, their first loss. Bob weighs in on the Redskins name controversy. That's coming up at halftime. The Sky Mirror outside the stadium as Griffin now will take off and get around the outside and pick up the first down before he gets out of bounds.
Well, this is going to be a long night for this defensive line. We have an expectation now in Dallas because of Rod Marinelli and Monty Kiffin that these guys hustle all the way down the field. They chase every play, but they are so thin along that defensive line now. The more Robert Griffin can make them run around, the more success they're going to have at the end of this ball game. Jason Hatcher, the only guy they thought would be starting, left in that lineup.
So Rod Marinelli came over this year, longtime assistant coach in the NFL. This is his group, and they can't get Griffin the first time, but they do the second time as he gets away. Jason Hatcher was there, and it's called incomplete. They almost had him. He gets away. Hatcher wants grounding, but if you're outside the pocket, it's not, and Marinelli is crazy.
This will be interesting. And once again, Jason Hatcher just winning the battle up here against Corey Lichtensteiger. Was his knee down, though? Is a kind of an interesting question. I thought originally it might have been. Well, we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's that close, I guess.
Now, no challenges in the last 2 minutes, but it can be reviewed.
The previous play is under further review.
Yep, so
good decision. I think he may have been down on that one.
Yep. Down, up, incomplete. And this will probably work in the Cowboys' favor. Walt Anderson ready to make the call. We think this is going to wind up as a sack and a 10-yard loss. And here is Walt to tell us about it.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback was down by contact at the 36-yard line. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the Dallas bench. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the 36. First down, Washington.
Whoa, so that instead of making it 2nd and 20 because of a penalty on the Dallas bench, it's a first down.
I'm not going to speculate, but Rod Marinelli was hot. So you don't know who that one was on. We'll try to find out.
Well, the assistant coaches are playing big roles tonight in terms of getting flags if it is on them.
And he's thinking, here I am. I get these guys hustling their tails off, and they get a sack. You don't give it to me. I tell you you're wrong. You admit you're wrong, and I get 15 yards.
Yep. And the key would be on the Dallas bench as opposed to naming a number of somebody. So there you go. That's even more costly than the one on Burns because at least it was going to be a touchdown anyway on the run back, despite the penalty on the Washington system coach. Now Griffin throws and the pass is not caught. Santana Moss draped by Orlando Scandrick, 2nd and 10.
Well, so far we have seen tremendous coverage down the field. It has been a bit of a point of controversy at times, especially coming out of that Denver Broncos game in the slot here. Orlando Scandrick absolutely perfectly done there, but it was that way across the field. No choice here. We may see RG3 starting to step up and through a little bit more, but I think there are some running opportunities for him.
Griffin is 8 out of 14 for 102 yards. Steps away, buys time. Little sidearm shovel to the tight end Jordan Reed. Redskins have all of their timeouts, and right now coming up is a 3rd and 7 at the 46 with 1:13 and ticking down.
But you saw the opportunity there. Once the pass rush missed, he could have taken off with that football, and I think the Cowboys probably happy he threw it.
Third and 7, the play clock still with 10 seconds on it.
I think Robert's sensing a blitz.
Oh, yeah. And then now they have to take a timeout.
This is the first charge timeout. Washington, 30 seconds.
Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Subway. Train hard, eat fresh. By Moto-X, designed by you, assembled in the USA. By Nissan, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow. Innovation that excites, and by Windows. Dallas Zoo, 125 years old this year. Home to over 2,000 animals. Halloween coming up.
Order for candy.
Yeah. Quarterback comparison tonight. Romo throwing that one interception. Griffin sacked once. Only one offensive touchdown in the first half of any game this season for Washington. So this is their 5th game, and only against Detroit did they score an offensive touchdown. They have 3 defensive first half touchdowns. 3rd and 7, and Griffin throws, and that's caught on the run. That's Jordan Reed, and the tight end bangs his way inside the 20 for a first down. 35 and counting down. Washington with 2 timeouts.
Nice read by Robert Griffin that time. The motion showed him it was going to be man coverage. That's why they put Jordan Reed in motion. They saw Church had him and took advantage.
Still 2 timeouts. Took a lot of time here, and now they throw it out of bounds. So Garcon stopped on the route. 2nd and 10, but you're down to 15 seconds.
On the last play, you're going to see the motion come across. And then when Church goes back with him, he knows it's one-on-one. Look at that move. That is so sweet by Jordan Reed. What a player he's going to be. Watch this. Woo.
Tell you what, though, they wasted a lot of time before the first time out, and this time not taking the timeout. We'll see if that comes back to haunt. Kyle Shanahan, son of Mike, the offensive coordinator, down to 15 seconds. They've got timeouts, but what good is it with 15 seconds? You don't want to leave any on the shelf. The pass is incomplete through the hands of Leonard Hankerson. Morris Claiborne with the coverage. That took 6 seconds. You're down to 9, and it's 3rd and 10.
Well, you're hoping to try and get some picks and rubs against all this man coverage that they're seeing. But Morris Claiborne is just hanging in there and ducks back underneath some of these picks that they're trying to set here. They're just trying to create some traffic in there. But so far, these corners that have been under scrutiny here have been up to the challenge.
So if they get a first down without a touchdown, because of all the time they've taken, they're reduced to probably just trying to kick a field goal. They can't take a timeout, but you don't have time to run another first down play. 3rd and 10, and Shanahan calls a timeout here, so they're going to use their second, and they should put the 3 seconds back on the clock.
This is the second charge timeout. Washington, please reset the game clock to 9 seconds.
There it is, 9 seconds. But you know what, Chris? They took so much time on those 2 plays, especially before they took the first time out. If you get a first down in the middle of the field and no touchdown, that's all you can really do is kick the field goal.
Yeah, and Mike Shanahan, you know how frustrated he is at watching the clock management being played out that poorly, especially when your team hasn't scored a first half offense touchdown.
So it's 3rd and 10. The ball is at the 17-yard line. Still have a timeout, so even if the play winds up inbounds, you can still take the timeout, take the field goal. But let's see what happens here. 3rd and 10. Griffin, he's going to run with it and can stop at the 14. So it becomes moot at this point. It's 4th down. Hayden makes the tackle. They have to take a timeout, and they do right away. Well, it's
close.
Very, unless they called it and the clock ticked another couple of seconds. They called it right away, and now Forbath is going to come in to try to make it an 8-point game. Here's where Ware got hurt. We'll get out of halftime. Michelle's going to update us as to exactly what this is about. He's in the locker room. We'll find out when we come back to start the second half. Meanwhile, here's Forbath, a 32-yard field goal attempt. And it's right down the middle. So that is the way the half will end at AT&T Stadium, with Dallas leading Washington 14-6. Redskins get the second half kickoff. Coming up next, the Toyota halftime after these messages from your NBC station.
Waiting all day for Sunday night.
14-6 is our halftime score here in Arlington as you look at downtown Dallas. You know, very often we talk about quarterbacks and every other thing except mechanics. Good time to talk about mechanics right here.
How about the Burger King inside edge? Okay. Let's do that. We were talking to Mike Shanahan a little bit last night, and he was saying how, listen, RG3 is a young quarterback. I want him to start working on the fundamentals of the base, how he's throwing the ball. Look at Drew Brees. That strong base, a little tiny 6-inch step to throw the ball. Tony Romo, he likes his mechanics as well. Here keeps that base strong underneath him. Tonight, RG3's been better. This is where he started. Last year, much more vertical, but tonight, back, you see that triangle, that strong base where he can throw the ball out quickly. That's the Burger King inside edge on basic quarterback fundamentals. How about that?
Basic base.
Basic base.
I like that. That was good. Especially you look at somebody like Breeze. I mean, it's almost perfect.
It's pretty amazing. And part of the reason he can get the ball out so quickly whenever he wants is that he's in a great position to throw the ball.
Redskins will get the ball here as we start the third quarter, and they will begin at the 20-yard line. And a lot of good information, I know, coming from Michelle Tafoya.
Well, it's not good information if you're a Cowboys fan. DeMarcus Ware, with that quad injury, remains questionable. DeMarco Murray, their running back, with the knee, remains questionable. So that means more snaps for Joseph Randle, a running back. And Jason Garrett told me, look, our defensive linemen have been rotating anyway. They just have to continue to play more. As for Mike Shanahan, he's not pleased that his offense hasn't been able to find the end zone, but he's most upset with his team's penalties. 6 for 54 yards. He told me, we can't keep stopping ourselves.
All right, thank you, Michelle. And again, Washington unable to score an offensive touchdown. So 4 times in 5 games they've not been able to get into the end zone in the first half. And Griffin chased way out of the pocket and just has to fling it downfield, chased by George Selvey, and Griffin goes to the ground. Let's take a look at the first half numbers. Neither team able to really run the ball with great effectiveness, and passing yardage down, and especially when you think about the fact that last week's game here had 99 points. You had 1 turnover, and of course the big play was the punt return.
Albert Griffin going to take a shot there, and he's taken a few. The problem the Redskins have, you can't run the bootlegs until you start running the ball. The running game has been ineffective, so all their play action and bootlegs have not been there.
2nd and 10. He's going to keep it and get 7. 3rd and 3, tackled by the outside linebacker Bruce Carter.
That was a big play by Bruce Carter. There was some space out there and a lead blocker. Bruce Carter was basically benched a week ago because he did not play well. This time Darrell Young comes out, has a block on him, and that is one of those plays that maybe a season ago prior to this knee injury could have been a big one from RG3. This time you missed the block, and it sets up 3rd and short.
3rd down 3. Halou, the 3rd down back, flanking Griffin. And Griffin was swinging to the outside, needed 3, got 4. And that is a first down. Pierre Garçon. Read option plays. As you take a look at it, a little bit more over the last couple of weeks, but certainly not as much as last year.
Well, see, I think that it's such an important element of this offense because when they get the read option going, it allows them to use that to set up play action because the defensive ends have to freeze to play that read option, and now you get a little more time to throw the football. But when it's not effective or you're not using it, the passing game suffers.
From the 31, and this is Morris. He's been a deft running there. Selvey makes the tackle. He picks up 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
And now I think a big thing to watch here in this second half, and I would probably stay a little bit with the no huddle if I were the Redskins, because the Cowboys are so thin on that defensive line. If you can keep the pressure on them and sustain some drives and make them defend for 7, 8, 9, 10 plays, they don't have enough bodies left up there to continue the pace that they like to play.
Good point, and they did it with great effectiveness on their first drive of the game, finally stalling, and that resulted in a field goal. 2nd down and 5. And Griffin slides away, and then it slings it incomplete. Be 3rd down and 5.
Well, I tell you what, we saw that time Jordan Reed, the receiving tight end that we've been so impressed with tonight, deliver a block that time on Sean Lee. That young man, he's got a lot of things working for him, and it would not surprise me at all to see Robert Griffin go back to him if the Cowboys now have the nerve to play one-on-one man coverage against him.
Griffin, he's going to run for a first down. He's going to get it and a lot more before he goes out of bounds, and he gets hit as he goes out of bounds. Barry Church is there, and you got a flag down. So Griffin was going out of bounds, and that's one of those things where if the quarterback's going out and you even come close, here's what's going to happen.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 42, defense, hitting a player out of bounds, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Here's the interesting part of this call for me. Robert Griffin, I don't believe, was truly out of bounds. He was in the air, but there is a different set of rules for the quarterbacks as they go out of bounds. We saw it earlier this year in a Jets game, and just because their foot isn't down doesn't mean if they're a quarterback, they're going to get that protection. We've seen it time and time again this season, and it makes it so tough for those defenders.
Absolutely, but the officials are almost always going to call it on a play like that. The ball is at the 23-yard line, 1st and 10. And this is Halou to the 20-yard line. He goes. Sean Lee making the stop. That was Griffin's longest run of the year. It was 26 yards.
Well, we saw Halou at the end of the Raiders game come in after Morris was hurt and really looked terrific. I mean, he had some really nice carries, has a little big playability to him, a little faster than Alfred Morris, a lot faster than Alfred Morris, but Morris is the guy, bigger, stronger, can break some tackles, and that may pay off as this defensive line fatigues.
They bottled Morris up tonight, 10 carries, 21 yards. And the 11th will result in a loss. And look at how many white shirts are around the ball on that play. David Carter first. Lee is there as well. Loss of a couple. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Well, that play was fouled up from the start. Griffin's going to fake the quick screen out to the left. Then he turns, and Morris wasn't there. And from the beginning, that one had no chance.
Back comes Alou on 3rd down. 3rd and 9. Opening possession of the second half. Quick pass, caught, but short of the first down. Garcon, as Griffin got rid of it in a microsecond. Lee making the tackle. That's going to make it 4th down and a long one.
It looked like Lee was going to come, and then he drops out underneath as Bruce Carter, the other linebacker, comes. He just didn't get there quite quickly enough, or he might have had a play. A lot of games going on. These two teams know each other so well. They know what their hot reads are. Got him down just in time.
This will be a 33-yard attempt for Forbath, who's made 2 short ones tonight. And now he's made it 3, coming back from the groin strain after a month out. 10:03 left in the quarter. 14-9 is the score, Dallas. Starting October the 25th, NBC Fridays will include Dracula right after Grimm, just before Halloween, right here on NBC. Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya with you on Sunday Night Football. Heading to Indianapolis next week, where only the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning are taking on the Colts on Sunday Night Football. Is Dwayne Harris, who's been the star of the game to this point, has another big run back. And Harris, who has already been to the end zone once, is inside the 30. And E.J. Biggers will finally run him down to save a touchdown. Well, there's your star of the game, Cameron Lawrence, who just came off the practice squad. Through a block, and you got an injured Cowboy after a 90-yard return. '90-yard return, and the big block by Cameron Lawrence, as we just mentioned, he just came off the practice squad. They released Will Allen, and he threw a big block here. Rookie out of Mississippi State, and it puts Dallas in business at the 15-yard line. Randall is the running back. He gets it. And he gets hit immediately by Josh Wilson. We go back to the 90-yard punt run back.
Cameron Lawrence is going to go back. You'll see it in 1 second, coming right there with a huge block. But Jason Garrett told us on Friday afternoon he thought the one big advantage his team had in this one was special teams. He felt like the Redskins had cut some of their best special teams guys or not re-sign them, and he felt like they could possibly win the game on special teams. So far, proving pathetic.
Said punt run back. He had one earlier. That, of course, a kickoff return. And there goes Romo escaping and extending the play and then throwing it into the end zone. And it will be caught by Terrence Williams for the touchdown. Tony Romo, as he does so brilliantly and so often, extending the play, escaping. Josh Wilson came in on the corner blitz, throws it to the corner of the end zone, and the rookie Williams with a touchdown.
Well, let's make sure catch. 1 foot down. I'm not so sure.
Right. When does he get possession?
Catch.
There.
1-2. Yeah, there might have been that 1-2 happen. The first one happened pretty quickly. Watch this. Catch. Left down, right down, touchdown.
Got it. Confirmed upstairs. Extra point by Bailey is good. Dwayne Harris has been gigantic tonight. 21-9 Dallas. Well, you've got a couple of rookies right there, and one Terrence Williams who played at Baylor with RG3 and had a big game last week, over 150 yards, a touchdown, 4 receptions against Denver. Makes a great catch here to make it a 12-point game, 21-9. And then there's one Dwayne Harris. Punt return for a touchdown, 90-yard kickoff return to set up another one. And Bailey will bang it through the end zone.
Well, for Josh Wilson, one he'd like to have back. When you're here, you have to contain and make Romo come up and through, because you'll get him from the backside if you do that. By letting Romo get out and around, he did what he did a week ago repeatedly. You watched that film from a week ago, and this is what they did. Romo scrambled, and their wideouts made big plays down the field. Boy, this Terrence Williams is really becoming a weapon right now for Tony Romo. But that escapability led to 500 yards passing last week for Tony Romo.
So a big night for him. Meanwhile, one Des Bryant has been pretty quiet tonight. 4 catches, 19 yards, holding a real good job. And with the Redskins now down by 12, Morris picks up 6 on first down.
Well, it's like Tony could not be happier with some of the things that his young players are doing out there. And you got to think they're just going to get better offensively. This offensive line's really just been put together in the past few weeks. They have Gavin Escobar, who they took in the 2nd round as well. So this is an offense on the move.
2nd and 4. And it's a 2-yard pickup here. Well, when the season was about to begin, they were hoping it would be Spencer, Hatcher, Ratliff, and Ware up front. That's a pretty good 4 in a 4-3, changing the scheme. But only Hatcher's playing.
But those other guys are holding up pretty well. If you can shut down the Redskins running game the way that they have so far, you take away a lot of their passing game, which comes off of that play action.
And Halou trying to get to the 30-yard line. And he is there.
That was a heck of an effort that time by Halou. I didn't think he was going to be able to get there. It looked more like Alfred Morris carrying that line. Jason Garrett looking up, wanting to double check it. And he got hit a good yard and a half behind the line and just fought his way there. And his defense desperately needed that first down.
More than halfway through the 3rd quarter. Griffin has time, but the secondary doesn't shove it, and he loses the ball. That's Hatcher. And the Redskins are able to recover Corey Lichtensteiner, saving the day. That could have been a, well, not the end of the game, but that would have been a big, big play for the Dallas Cowboys to recover.
Well, let's give some credit to Jason Hatcher. He was completely out of that play, but it's amazing for a guy over 300 pounds to be able to run down a quarterback like Robert Griffin the way that he has tonight. He has been fantastic. Since DeMarco Murray has gone out, he has really taken over the game defensively.
2nd and 22. 12-yard loss. The pistol plus here. And then just throwing it into the ground. But there was a receiver in the neighborhood. It'll be 3rd down, and that is Nick Hayden, who's slow to get up.
Getting thin, but I tell you, they have done their job up front. I would not have believed it. The one thing the Washington Redskins feared was that if they could not get their running game going, which they have not tonight, that they just couldn't man up against a bigger defensive line from the Cowboys. And so far, that's what's happening. Now that they're in more of the drop-back mode, the Cowboys are eating them up.
Drake Nevis comes in along that front, number 70. Griffin will throw, and this is Halou. And Halou will take it out to the 36-yard line. Nice run, but because it was third and so long, he still is shy of the first down by 4 yards after a pickup of 18. And Washington to send in the punting team.
But a big difference there between punting from the 25 or so and punting from your own goal line. So good play, but look out now.
We'll take a look at Harris, first player in the history of this team, 50-plus on both a KOR and a punt return. And this time he's going to field it backing up all the way back at the 5-yard line. Flag is down. He was off again, gets taken down at the 29-yard line. Cowboys want another flag at the end of the play. And Walt Anderson comes over to sort this thing out. And a flag all the way on this side of the field, totally away from the play.
During the return, holding number 24, receiving team. It's a 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. It'll be first down, timeout.
Morris Claiborne holding, but Dallas will get the ball deep in its own territory. 5:16 to go in the third. London Fletcher, 38 years old and still playing extremely well. Undrafted in '98 out of John Carroll University in Ohio. Class of '98, Peyton Manning, 230 starts, and Fletcher at 229. 245th consecutive game. Rarely comes out. A guy who has a Super Bowl ring. You forget he played with the St. Louis Rams back in that magical year of 1999 with Kurt Warner. They won the Super Bowl. And here is Joseph Randall. Talking about Fletcher last night. So that's the game that ends on the 1-yard line. Otherwise, Kevin Dyson scores for Tennessee. It's the only Super Bowl that would have gone to overtime. And we asked London last night, where was he? He was covering Eddie George out in the flat, and he thought that Dyson had gotten in.
He knew every detail of that play, didn't he? He was going, it's the triangle coverage. This guy was here. I was there. And when he first saw the play, he thought it might be a touchdown. All he saw was the reach across the goal line there.
That's all he saw. And meanwhile, he said, as Des Bryant was the intended receiver, he said, I didn't even know we'd won the game until the confetti started to come down.
I asked him if he was looking which color it was at that point, but that would have made it a tie. But you think about what this guy has accomplished. Didn't make the Pro Bowl at all after playing all those years until the last 4 years. Now has made it every year, but he has led his team in tackles 14 years in a row. I mean, that is pretty remarkable, just to stay healthy for 14 years in a row.
Rams, Bills, Redskins, took him so long. He said, I'm the Susan Lucci of the NFL. Always nominated, never got there until 4 years ago. 3rd and 10. And that's incomplete. So a very fast 3 and out intended for Bryant. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, DeMarco Murray has been downgraded to out with that knee injury. DeMarcus Ware also downgraded to out, so that defensive line very thin for Washington. Cornerback David Amerson is out with a concussion, and I've just been told that Nick Sundberg also has a right knee issue and is questionable, guys.
Well, that's the concussion, I think, was sustained on that punt return with that block by Lawrence, Michelle, and then the injuries mount up, especially in Murray's case. They're going to let this punt bounce at the 41-yard line. You got another flag here. Jerome Murphy handled it. And Walt Anderson has had a fairly busy night.
During the kick, holding number 30, receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. It'll be first down. Timeout.
E.J. Biggers, 4:20 left in the third. There is Ware. And Dallas is up by a dozen. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Gillette Fusion Pro Glide Precision Equipment, unrivaled comfort on sensitive skin. By Geico, 15 minutes to save you 50% on car insurance. And by AT&T, rethink possible. We look at the Texas State Fair. Big Texas, 1886. Having fun on the midway. From the 29-yard line, Washington starts this drive. And it is incomplete. The pass right in there, intended for Garcon. Can't hold on. Second down and 10.
Well, I tell you, the key to this game so far has been the inability of the Redskins to run the football. Alfred Morris, who in 2 games rushed for 313 yards against the Cowboys, just barely over 2 yards per carry in this one. Roy Halou about the same kind of numbers. Griffin skews the numbers a bit because he's had some big runs. But the stretch game, the running game that they set up all their play action passes off of, almost non-existent here so far.
Second down and 10 from the 29-yard line. Read option again. This time Griffin is able to get around the corner. And then out of bounds he goes. And then you got action afterwards. And penalty marker. Church is there. He's already been flagged once tonight.
I think they got Griffin in the head here going out of bounds. Again, he was in the air leaping.
Right hand delivered by Church after he's already out of bounds.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 54, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, they're going to call it on Carter.
I do think his foot stepped out of bounds barely right before that. But I don't think it was on Carter at all.
No, it wasn't 54. It was,
I think it was Church again. Yeah. Right here on the tail end, this foot is out there. And then a little shot, so Bruce Carter is going to get the attention, at least in the stadium. But it wasn't him.
Redskins now at the 45-yard line of the Cowboys. They're jumping up front, and this is a free play because it's going to be offside against Dallas. And going all the way to the end zone for a touchdown is Morris. The Cowboys jumped on the left side of the line, so it's a free play. Off they go, and it's a 45-yard touchdown run.
Offside, number 85, defense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
We've been talking about it. The key is, can you get Sean Lee blocked? That time the center, Will Montgomery, is going to get up, get his hands on Sean Lee, and there you go. I give Kyle and Mike Shanahan a lot of credit. The running game had not been working. They realized this is a thin defensive line now for the Cowboys. They stayed with it and finally popped one.
So Morris had 27 yards on 13 carries and then 45 on that one. Forbath, extra point. And with 3:43, there's a penalty marker. There's last year's 6th-round pick out of Florida Atlantic.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 74. Offense, 5-yard penalty, retry.
Try it again. Morris, 2 very big days against the Cowboys. Went to Florida Atlantic because everybody else that was offering him a scholarship wanted him to be a linebacker.
Well, remember that last game in which he rushed for 200 yards was the one that decided it was winner goes to the playoff, loser goes home. And the Redskins, after throwing it all over the park on Thanksgiving Day, came back and ran it down their throat to make the playoffs.
Will Montgomery has to do the snapping because the regular snapper, Nick Sundberg, is hurt. Extra point is good. Alfred Morris last year taking over, and he broke the Redskins rushing record that had been held by Clinton Portis in that Week 17 game. We were in there for that one. 3 touchdowns. Griffin had a huge night. Off they went to the playoffs. And breaks one here tonight from 45.
You know, we talk about it a lot, Al, but with the running game and with a big running back and a big offensive line and a thin defensive line, sometimes you just have to hang with it. Because as those defensive linemen get tired, they're not quite as quick to the ball. And I think you're going to see the Shanahan combination just continue to pound it for the rest of this game.
Well, Pensacola, Florida, that, of course, is the hometown of the all-time leading rusher in the NFL, Emmitt Smith. Morris was down there. Also, Trent Richardson was down there as well. They never played together, but they were always rivals. Richardson now, you know, obviously traded from Cleveland to Indianapolis. We'll see him next week. And again, we talked about Mike Shanahan and drafting Terrell Davis in round 6 at Denver. He's got another gem here. Well, Mr. Harris, will he get another chance here to run it back and pull down it in the end zone?
You know, it is kind of interesting, Al, that Mike Shanahan can find those guys in the 6th round because they don't run 4-4 and they don't have extraordinary gifts in the open field. But he likes those big guys, one cut, downhill as his smaller offensive line types get out and move and reach, and all of a sudden those big cutback runs do exactly that.
He did it all those years in Denver with Alex Gibbs coaching the offensive line. Those cutbacks made Mike a lot of money as a head coach. From the 20-yard line, Randall, the running back, with Murray out of the game. And Romo ducking down but can't get out of the way of Perry Riley, who gets the sack.
Well, when you talk about quarterback play, what they talk about is repeatable mechanics. And when you watch Tony Romo with this tracer, you're going to see a repeatable motion. It is almost the same. One of the quickest deliveries, one of the quickest releases we see in football. That and his mobility are the 2 reasons he's been putting up such big numbers this year.
2nd and 15. And the pass is low. Intended for Bryant. Ball is all over him. Romo goes down. There is no flag. That's Josh Wilson who got there as he released. 3rd and 15.
Well, he hopes he doesn't repeat that mechanics anytime soon, because Josh Wilson hit him just as he was throwing the ball, which also happened on that interception that sort of cost him the game a week ago. And you see Romo chewing on him a little bit, saying, guys, I got him open down the field. Give me a chance here.
3rd and 15.
Wilson on the edge again. We'll see if he's going to come again this time. Nope.
And Tony's going to throw on the run, and that's incomplete. Intended for Miles Austin, who's been well covered and fairly silent tonight as well.
Well, you're picking up an extra blocker with Jason Witten in the backfield, but you're also sort of giving up one of your top receivers. London Fletcher has him just out of the flat. Remember, it was 3rd down and 15, so there's a price to be paid for that extra blocker.
And the Redskins hoping to get the ball in pretty decent field position. Just under the big board goes the punt from Jones. Fielded by Joshua Morgan. And he gets run out of bounds in front of the Cowboy bench at about the 40-yard line with 2:47 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And the Dallas Cowboys up by 5.
Starting to feel like it's turning a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, just the Redskins look more like the Redskins. I think the more that at this point the read option stuff is an asset for them, because it's forcing the Dallas Cowboys to think about what RG3 may be doing and all the motion and all the different things. And then off of the read option play, that's when they popped Alfred Morris.
Washington from the 39. Morris. And also, Chris, we brought this up before as he gets gang stopped there. They've had the lead. The Redskins have so little time this year, less than 10% right now, because they haven't led in the game tonight. And so they're always kind of taken out of their game plan, but now they can definitely execute whatever is the plan here in the second half.
Yeah, and, you know, DeMarcus Ware got some experience against that read option a season ago. I'm starting to see the Cowboys now. They're really firing on Alfred Morris. It's about time for an RG3 run and keep.
In the pocket. Guns it over the middle and incomplete. Tried to thread it in there to Garcon. And that'll set up a 3rd and 7.
I tell you, Brandon Carr has had an outstanding ball game tonight. He has had the best receiver, Pierre Garcon, the Washington Redskins have to offer. And it's just one-on-one. There's nothing tricky about this. This is one guy playing their best receiver, trail underneath right there, and he's been there all night long. A guy that you don't always think about as being a top-end sort of physical talent, but when you watch him, the fundamentals of this guy's game is as good as anybody you'll see. Very physical off the line of scrimmage.
High-priced free agent came over from Kansas City last year. On 3rd and 7, that is caught, and getting the first down and dragging Claiborne with him is Leonard Hankerson. To the Dallas 41 he goes, so they convert on a 3rd and 7 with under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd.
Well, they actually got lucky. I think they blew a coverage here. They bring Barry Church out of the middle of the field, and to my knowledge, I didn't see anybody pick up the tight end here. Jordan Reed, there is nobody in the middle of the field. Don't see it, but pick up the first down anyway. I don't think that Jordan Reed could believe. Look around and say, where's my guy?
Back to the ground. Back to Morris. And Morris bursts ahead to the 35-yard line. Church in on the tackle. Gain of 6. 2nd and 4.
Just kind of coming. These runs that were going for 2 and 3 yards in the first half are now going for 5 and 6 yards here in the second half. And once you establish Alfred Morris up the middle, now you start to create some possibilities of bootleg. You start to create some play action possibilities, some read option possibilities. Keep your eye on those tight ends. A lot of times they're the lead blockers coming around that read option.
Ooh, and that's kept by Griffin after Morris got stuffed at the line of scrimmage. But Griffin, with that deft ball handling, keeps it, runs around the left side, and takes the ball to the 30.
Well, a couple of things. The tight end going across, we talked about. But watch Darrell Young here go across the face, let that first guy go, and go pick up Sean Lee, the second guy. That's what makes this so difficult. At various times, they're going to block different guys. And as a defender, you never really know. You could see they came down Kyle Wilbur and had Alfred Morris. But now they've got 2 blockers on the outside, and you have a first down.
Stuffed Morris, except Morris had everything with the ball. 1st and 10. And getting away is Griffin, but not for long and not very far. Brandon Carr gets credit for the tackle. Loss of a couple, and that takes us to the end of the 3rd quarter with the score Dallas 21, Washington 16. Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages. Aerial coverage as you look at downtown Big D, Dallas, Texas, brought to you by Geico. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoy. Sunday Night Football Week 6, AT&T Stadium, opened in 2009. Close to 90,000 in here tonight as we start the 4th quarter. 2nd down and 11 for the Washington Redskins. Play fake by Griffin, and the pass is broken up. Good play by Morris Claiborne to make sure it didn't get through to Hankerson. 3rd and 11.
One of the things that the Cowboys knew coming in was that, for the most part, Robert Griffin is a first-look thrower. In other words, they do all this run, then they go play action, and they look at one guy and they throw it. Their goal was to make him look at a 2nd or 3rd guy. So far tonight, they've done a pretty good job taking away that first option.
And speaking of good jobs, look at Griffin on 3rd down, which he has here on a 3rd and 11. Empty backfield, good protection, and a wobbly underthrown pass is thrown out of bounds as well. Garcon, the intended receiver, not even close. 4th down.
Well, once again, Brandon Carr has just been fantastic. I mean, this is a tough route. This is man coverage. And you have a tough assignment here. A lot of field, physical at the line of scrimmage, runs underneath, dares them to throw it over the top. Just a fan. Brandon Carr is really keeping them in the ball game right now. There's just no doubt about that with his man coverage against their best.
49-yard field goal attempt by Forbath. He's kicked 3 from short range tonight. Tested here. And Forbath's kick, no good. And now that will give Dallas the ball at the 39-yard line.
Well, Nick Sundberg is hurt. Remember, Will Montgomery up there snapping. Pretty good snap there. Good hold. Just a hook shot.
Well, Forbath back after a month because of a groin injury.
The other key part of that, Al, of course, you miss a field goal. They put it back to the spot of the kick. So now good field position for the Dallas Cowboys. They cannot have another 3 and out, though. Back-to-back 3 and outs, and the time of possession is starting to skew heavily in favor of the Washington Redskins. That defense needs a rest.
Washington's had the ball over 28 minutes, and Dallas just 16. In the 39, Romo with that shoulder shake. Under pressure, gets out of the pocket, then throws. Caught by Cole Beasley. And he gets a first down, taking it into Redskin territory. Beasley, local favorite, played his college ball at SMU, gained of 22.
Houdini does it again. Romo is going to get hit on the back of his leg. I think it was Arakpo that almost got there. Comes out, and he just has a knack of this. I mean, they put up 48 points due in large part to some really pretty incredible plays that Romo made out of the pocket. And I think the more they play this spread offense of theirs and get people in space, the more opportunities he has to make plays like that.
Cowboys, no run game tonight. 31 rushing yards. Romo throws on the run. That's caught. Des Bryant fighting his way to the 30-yard line. Pretty quiet for Bryant tonight. Got a little noisy here. Gain of 17. First down. NFC East. Philly won today. Beat Tampa. They're 3-3. Dallas either going to 3-3 or 2-4. Washington either going to 2-3 or 1-4. The Giants winless through 6. Garrett and Shanahan, who both played quarterback in college. Garrett at Princeton and Mike at Eastern Illinois. And Romo throws over the middle, and that's caught by Whitten. What a shot he takes from Hall at the end of the play. Getting tackled, and then Hall comes in to make his presence known.
And a good legal hit. Jason Whitten coming across the field, and you'll see Angelo Hall drop that shoulder, get the head out of there. Shoulder to shoulder contact, but that was a big hit. They're starting to go to this new look spread formation of theirs. They have sort of found something they like with Cole Beasley, Des Bryant over here, and Jason Witten and Terrence Williams and Miles Austin at the top of your screen.
And the pass quickly thrown is incomplete. Beasley trying to make the catch before he goes out of bounds. And that'll make it 3rd down and 4 from the Redskin 24. Miles Austin, meanwhile, who would be basically the number 2 receiver, hasn't played in 2 weeks because of a hamstring strain, hasn't caught a pass yet tonight.
And didn't do much in those 2 games last year either. He's a guy that has struggled with those hamstring injuries. We've seen him make spectacular plays, but just can't seem to keep his legs underneath him. They have stayed in this formation now for 3 consecutive plays.
3rd and 4.
Usually that means a blitz. Here it comes.
Everybody coming. And it's caught. It's Beasley who gets pushed out of bounds after he picks up the first down.
It's what they call a cover 0 blitz. Nobody in the middle of the field. Man-to-man coverage everywhere, so there's no way they could block it all. Romo knew he had to throw it before the blitzer got there. He did. And this Cole Beasley, I think, has added an element. I know the comparisons are garbage sometimes, but think Wes Welker. His in-and-out quickness in some of these routes and double sort of moves has added a little third down weapon now for Tony Romo.
If nothing else, it's that same role that Welker would play.
You got it.
Randall is the back. He stays in the block. Romo under pressure and just throws it incomplete off to the right. 2nd down and 10.
Trying to watch a little bit of Joseph Randall blocking in there. Of course, when DeMarco Murray goes out of the game, you lose one of those big body guys. And Perry Riley, I think, is playing some man coverage on him. But if you ever tried to just come through and sort of throw Randall right back into Tony Romo, I think he could. That is one little bit of a weakness right now for this Cowboys offense without DeMarco Murray in there.
Cowboys don't have a single yard rushing in this half, and that pass over the head of Witten, covered there by Riley, and setting up a 3rd down and 10.
You know, one of the things that all this pressure from the Washington Redskins can do to a quarterback, when you see blitz after blitz after blitz, and all of a sudden the old clock in your head, you know, that thing they always talk about, all of a sudden you start going, all right, 1-2, I got to throw it.
Late flag on the play. Nobody knows right now.
There was no sort of pick play, anything like that sometimes happens in the open field.
Crowd getting restless. All right, finally.
Offensive pass interference. An eligible receiver was blocking downfield during the pass. That's a 10-yard penalty. It'll still be 2nd down.
That's that old Green Bay Packers play where they try and go down the field and block before the play was thrown, and they think they can get the ball to the tight end soon enough where these guys can just go down and block here. And you'll see neither one of them are looking back for a pass. They're just trying to block, and you can do that right at the line of scrimmage, within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage, but not down the field.
And you saw E.J. Biggers playing the left cornerback spot, going right to the official and saying, come on, illegal. 2nd down and 20 from the 26. Only a 3-man rush this time. And Romo going for the end zone, and it's batted away at the very last second by D'Angelo Hall. So Hall has been covering Bryant most of the night. This time gets assigned to Miles Austin and saves a touchdown.
Well, I tell you what, D'Angelo Hall just saved somebody on the back ends, but this is much more of a cover, too. That is not really his coverage responsibility. The safety jumped on whoever the slot receiver was, Des Bryant, I think, and was completely out of position. This is one of those that would have looked like D'Angelo Hall's fault in the newspaper the next day, but really he just saved his safety's butt.
3rd and 20. Romo underneath. Beasley gets away from Hall and then gets taken down at the 12-yard line. So that'll make it 4th down. And in will come Bailey to try to make it an 8-point game.
D'Angelo Hall really with a game-saving play on that one. I mean, that was one. You see it sometimes in the league, and sometimes those veteran corners can look around and go, oh no, my guy's going the wrong way. Sprints back and saves the day.
This is a 30-yard field goal attempt. And Bailey's kick is good. Still a one-possession game. The lead is now 8, though, at 24-16. Sunday Night Football is being brought to you by the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and Galaxy Gear. By BMW, we only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by McDonald's, I'm loving it. Friday Night Lights in Texas, DeSoto High School. 2 nights ago, improving to 6-0 in the season as they beat Timberview 55-20. Well, you've got 90,239 at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. There it is. There's the attendance. You walk into this place and it still has a major wow factor.
No doubt.
And you got a touchback here. It's great walking in here with people who've never been here before, and they walk around and go, wow.
Yeah,
it's the first word, isn't it?
Even if you don't like football, you come in here and kind of look at the art, and you spend all day around here. But it really is something, because in this day and age of budget cuts and stadiums, oh boy, we'd like to do this, but we just can't. It's too expensive. Yep. Jerry Jones is only Jerry Jones can. He did it all. He wanted everything, and he got it.
Old Wildcatter. And when you're a Wildcatter, and it was tough because he was building the stadium in the middle of the complete financial meltdown. GE selling for $5 a share. The Dow's down to 6,000. Never cut a corner.
Nope. And he's adding corners now.
From the 20 on first down. Griffin checks it down to the outside. Morgan gets escorted out of bounds by Church at the 26.
Brandon Carr is trying to win this game by himself. He deserves the game ball no matter what happens the rest of the way. This is Pierre Garçon, their #1 receiver. This has been a one-on-one matchup all night, and Robert has been looking there all night, and he just simply has nowhere to throw it.
Start, number 46, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
No huddle here and quick snapping it, but it didn't work.
Such a significant game, though, for these two teams. They know it. Robert Griffin, they won their last game coming off the bye. Really felt like maybe they had it going. Looked good, a couple 3-and-outs, and couldn't convert that last drive and missed the field goal.
2nd and 9. And Griffin's going to get away, but here comes a flag. And then the pass will be caught out of bounds. And you're going to get a hold here.
Jason Hatcher is the equivalent of Brandon Carr in this game. With all his guys out, he knew he was the only guy.
Holding,
really.
Number 78, offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
And now he looks like he's hurt. There we go. 97 is going to come in and beat Chris Chester and just try to get pressure. Luckily, they had a mobile quarterback and Robert Griffin, but boy, with everybody gone, it has been Jason Hatcher or bust as far as pass rush pressure in this one.
2 sacks tonight. He comes out. Penalty was on Lichtensteiger. Griffin under pressure. Putting the heat on. Down he goes, and the ball's loose at the 4-yard line. The ball is loose, and the Dallas Cowboys have come away with the ball at the 2. Kyle Wilbur with the football. I don't know where these linemen are coming from. Everybody's out of the game. Everybody but Randy White is in the game right now. And they still put the pressure on Griffin.
Well, Rod Marinelli is going to be proud. A couple of different ways the pressure here. All the way around and then back in is Kyle Wilbur here. But really without the pressure inside from Selvey, RG3 doesn't back up. A little combination sack. And this defense, you just can't give them enough credit. This has been a hang with them kind of game, and they have been tough. These guys, they pulled off the street to make up this defensive line, have been getting it done.
Well, that Selvey's been doing a great job this year. Guys bounced around St. Louis, Carolina, Jacksonville in the middle of the action. Again, 1st and goal. Randall is the back from the 3. And Randall will get stuffed at the 2. It's only a 4th running play they've run since Murray came out of the game in the 2nd quarter. Bowen makes the tackle, 2nd and goal.
Oh, you think? Stephen Bowen, that was nasty. Coming down the line, the former Cowboy, and boy, did he put a lick that time on Joseph Randall.
It's an interesting statistic right there, in as much as fumbles are normally a 50-50 proposition. It's only the 4th time he's lost a fumble in 18 fumbles. So they've been very lucky on most of them, but not here. 2nd down and goal from the 2. Trying to plug his way into the end zone, and Randall keeps the legs going, and he's in there.
I think Travis Frederick pushed him in the end zone. I don't think Randall was going to make it. Like Perry Riley had him tied up here, but then Frederick went back to the old bench press and the leg squat and just took the whole pile into the end zone.
One rookie escorting the other. Frederick, their number 1 draft choice. Randall, their number 5 draft choice. Touchdown confirmed upstairs. 8:49 left in regulation. And Bailey to try to make it a 15-point game. The Dallas Cowboys 31 and the Washington Redskins 16. Washington rivalry to another Wednesday night. Alex Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals will be taking on the New York Rangers. 6:30 Eastern time on the NBC Sports Network. Rangers opening up the season of the month on the road. At least they're getting back east.
All the fans pretty enamored with the new piece of art, aren't they?
They love it.
Going out to check it out.
Fits in very well. Sky mirror outside AT&T Stadium as the kickoff is taken about 6 yards in the end zone. Josh Morgan's going to come out with it. And gets banged down hard at the 14-yard line. 8:44 remaining. 15-point game. Download NFL Mobile. Never be without football. Live access to exclusive premium content on your smartphone. Call Star NFL. Go to NFL.com/mobile. Offense in this half. 2-1 Washington, but Dallas in control of the game right now. And they begin this drive with a short 3-yard run. Nick Hayden taking down Roy Halou.
Yeah, they've pretty much taken away that stretch run play, but I really think that as much criticism as the cornerbacks have taken of the Dallas Cowboys, they're winning the game right now, because unless Pierre Garçon and Santana Moss and Leonard Hankerson can start getting some releases, maybe you want to go some bunch formations like they're doing over here and force them out of some of this bump and run man-to-man coverage, because ordinarily you get one-on-one like this at the top, you just go take it. Problem is they haven't been winning that battle.
2nd and 8. Griffin looking in that direction and throws, and that's incomplete. Cutting across the middle was Garçon. It's 3rd down and 8. And a flag.
Illegal hands to the face, number 96, defense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
So instead of a 3rd and 8, Hayden costing them a 1st down.
You know, for all we've been saying about Pierre Garçon and not getting open, he got open that time, and RG3 missed this throw. This was a good route. There he is. He's open. You've got to be able to make that one. You get somebody that open in this league against man coverage, that's a throw you have to make. So on both ends now, not able to convert.
Hands to the face on Hayden coming up. That's the penalty. 1st down, ball at the 21-yard line. Griffin. And it's caught by Santana Moss at the 46-yard line. He had Skandrick turned around with his back to the ball. And the pass is caught for a gain of 25 yards.
That's a good play, but it had a chance to be a bigger play than that. Skandrick was beaten pretty badly by Moss on that play and going up the boundary without any support behind him. Going to come right up here, and there really isn't support back there. So if that one's hit in stride, they have a chance for a bigger play than that.
They settle for 25 yards. Ball at the 46-yard line. Pass to the outside. Not close. Ballou flaring out. 2nd and 10 with 7:11 left in regulation. Again, there is DeMarcus Ware. He's out. Talked about all of the guys missing along that defensive front, but people like George Selvey and Hatcher, who was out for a little while as well, and Nick Hayden, rookie Cesar Rayford's been in there a little bit. Kyle Wilbur have all done the job tonight for Dallas. 2nd and 10. Off the fake, flushed out again. Griffin throws against the grain, and it's caught. It's hauled in by Ballou, who's covered there by Brandon Carr. So it's a gain of 8, 3rd and 2.
Excuse me, Howard. But what's happening now is it's a nice adjustment here by the Washington Redskins. They're moving into those bunch formations and tightening up. So Brandon Carr and Morris Claiborne can't play that bump and run man-to-man because they might get picked off. That time Garcon was wide open. They essentially blew the coverage. So maybe they're on to a little formula here with the passing game.
Big 3rd down and 2 for the Redskins. And the up back, it goes to Young. And he will take the ball to the 25-yard line. So Darrell Young, the 4th-year fullback out of Villanova, who had his first touch of the year against Oakland 2 weeks ago, normally a lead blocker, picks up a big 1st down.
Well, yeah, you're going to be surprised when a guy has no carries on the season. And now here he is, a big 3rd down, and he gets the ball, and you're just not expecting that one to happen, and they pop it big.
From the 26. Ballou fights his way, gain of 2 to the 24-yard line.
Still plenty of time, but you're getting down to that point in the game where everybody's looking up at the clock. You know, it's like, okay, you're going back into the huddle here, but you have to count on scoring a touchdown here, getting the ball back, and scoring again. So the pace needs to quicken here a bit.
And along the way, get a 2-point conversion. 2nd and 7 from the 23. And Griffin to the back of the end zone, and it is taken by Skandrick. Is he in? Yes, he is. Skandrick coming down, at least according to the official, inbounds for the interception. They'll review it upstairs, but there he is. Looks like he's in. Last year, Griffin throwing 393 passes, only 5 interceptions. Best interception rate for a rookie in the history of the league. This year already now, in a little less than 5 games, 5 interceptions. And the 5th one coming there, and that's a backbreaker with 5:08 to go. Dallas can work on the clock here. Not only that, they're going to work on padding their lead, because here's Raynald for a gain of 14, and back we go to the Skandrick pick.
Here we go, Orlando Skandrick. But watch how brilliant this is. Santana Moss is going to go to the ground, not push down, but Skandrick keeps running. So many defensive backs in that situation would have stopped when their guy fell down. Skandrick said, well, what if he had already thrown it? Follows through, goes and makes the interception, holds on, and doesn't bobble that ball at all. And for Orlando Skandrick, his 4th career interception, but his 1st since 2011.
Button elbow going down first before he goes out. Ball at the 34-yard line. Romo running the clock all the way down. Hands the ball off to Joseph Randall to the 37-yard line. So the Redskins, you can make a case for it being a more important game for either team, because Washington's on the verge of going 1-4, and they've got Chicago at home next week, and then they go to Denver. But Dallas, if they went to 2-4 with a loss tonight, they have 4 of their next 5 games on the road. This is a team that will play one game here against Minnesota in 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. That's all. One.
I'm going to tell you, it's as good a defensive effort from a bunch of no-name guys as I've seen in a long time. Superstars leaving the game, and they just keep banging around with Kyle Wilbur and Drake Nevis and David Carter and Caesar Rayford, Nick Hayden. Go figure.
Randall to the 40-yard line. And on top of that, you lose your ace back in Murray early in the game. You have no running game to speak of. And right now, Washington takes a timeout with 3:25 to go. 3rd and 4 when we come back. Well, next week to Indianapolis we go. Mr. Peyton Manning returns to Indianapolis. Andrew Luck and the Colts. What a night that will be. Denver and Indianapolis is your Sunday night football game a week from tonight. Peyton winning again today over Jacksonville. 22 touchdown passes. The Broncos 265 points. Going to Indy next Sunday night. 3rd and 4 after the Washington timeout. And the Redskins are going to be able to stop them and get the ball back and take a timeout here as Perry Riley makes the tackle. So the Redskins are down to their final timeout plus the 2-minute warning and a 2-possession game. But at least Griffin will get the ball back very shortly.
Who knows? You know, I mean, we've seen stranger things than this. So I tell you, we have seen some just fabulous efforts on the defensive side of the ball. Brandon Carr was tremendous. Jason Hatcher, just an outstanding game. Sean Lee, so many plays tonight. I thought Bruce Carter much better than what he was a week ago. A guy so capable of being that will linebacker in this defense, but maybe this Cowboys defense sort of growing up a little bit inside of Monty Kiffin's system.
Here's Chris Jones punt. And at the 19-yard line, making the catch and hit immediately. Dwayne Harris gets down there on special teams. So he's had a huge punt return, a huge kickoff return, and he's doing it all on special teams. And you talked about it, Chris. Garrett felt one big advantage for Dallas was special teams. They had to win that battle.
And so many times teams now trying to save a few dollars. And let's not forget that the penalties that the Washington Redskins have had to live with, the $36 million in cap penalties, has meant that a lot of those veteran sort of kick coverage kind of guys and other stars on this team have had to be released because they had to do it. The league imposed the fines.
Griffin over the middle, and that's caught. Fingertip grab by Garcon, who takes it out to the 41-yard line. Under 3 minutes now. Washington getting up to the line with alacrity. 25-yard gain. Shanahan calling the play in. Kyle.
Brandon Carr is holding his shoulder a little funny here.
Griffin fires over the middle. Juggled, loose, incomplete. Jordan Reed, the tight end over the middle. Lee is back there with him. 2nd down and 10.
Well, we've seen Sean Lee make some great plays in run defense, but I still think the best part of his game is right here. We've already shown you what kind of player Jordan Reed is, but Sean Lee can run and can cover just about any tight end or running back that you can throw out there at him.
Griffin way too high. Hankerson was there. Claiborne with the coverage. 3rd down and 10.
Well, here in the 4th quarter, Robert Griffin has missed some relatively easy throws. I mean, he has uncorked a couple. It's one thing to miss them by a few yards. We get back to Mike Shanahan, and really they've missed this offseason of work on his fundamentals, and sometimes it still shows up.
3rd and 10. Little dump off underneath. Kalu. And Carter says hello. 4th down.
Well, we've seen it before. You try to go screen, and when the linebacker has man coverage, you get an offensive lineman down there blocking, usually it works out. But Bruce Carter 2 or 3 times tonight has been able to shed blockers and make tackles at the line of scrimmage.
Washington uses its final timeout with Dwayne Harris. This a punt return for 86 yards for the touchdown. Then the kickoff return to set them up deep in Washington territory at the 15-yard line. They scored from there. Coverage as well. A lot of heroes tonight. A lot of guys who don't get a lot of publicity. All the defensive linemen. A guy like Dwayne Harris turning in yeoman work.
About to receive his second Special Teams Player of the Week award. I don't think anybody's going to beat him this week.
4th and 9. It comes down to this as Washington tries to stay alive. And they will not as the pass is dropped by Hankerson. Lose it on downs. They're out of timeouts. The only time the clock will stop now is at the 2-minute warning. And the Dallas Cowboys, in short order, are going to be tied with the Philadelphia Eagles for first place in the NFC East.
This was a perfect throw. Just a dead flat drop on 4th down right in the midsection.
So overall, what's your assessment of Griffin tonight? I mean, we saw a couple of flashes of the old Griffin.
I think he fought his guts out. I really do. I think physically he looked better running tonight than I've seen him. They had no running game to speak of. It was only his runs, his scrambles in the first half. Didn't get a lot of support. And his receivers, quite frankly, didn't get open for him.
Or dropped the ball.
I mean, they had a couple moments, and he did miss a few throws, but for the most part, I would not pin this one on RG3.
We go to the 2-minute warning in Arlington, Texas. 31-16, Dallas. Right after the game, you've got the Wendy's post-game report. Michelle on the field. Bob, Tony, and Mike. NFL news. Chris and I will look ahead to next week's monster matchup.
Well, Robert Griffin, we just talked about him a bit, but we have seen some of the movement skills that made him special a year ago. A guy that had the top yards per pass and top yards per rush in the league. And the couple of mistakes that will be attributed to him, the fumble and an interception. One, he never saw the guy from behind, and the other, his receiver, Santana Moss, fell down. But all in all, pretty strong night. Really got beat on special teams tonight, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, that was something that each coach sort of addressed in a way. Garrett feeling that it was a battle they had to win, and Mike Shanahan just talking to Mike yesterday about who your key special teams guys, and kind of groping for.
He gave you that look.
Yeah, for an answer.
Yeah. But for Robert Griffin, so many comparisons to Adrian Peterson because of the way that Peterson recovered from the knee surgery a year ago, and they're saying, oh, well, if he did it and rushed for 2,000 yards, Robert Griffin can certainly come back and play quarterback. But if you look at some of the numbers, it took about 4 games for Adrian Peterson to get it going, too. And I think we've seen a little of that jump tonight from RG3.
Here's Randall, and he just wants to hold on to the ball, and they can take another 40 seconds off the clock. So Peterson last year, people forget he had that humongous season, almost broke Dickerson's record. We saw Eric was here tonight. In fact, first 4 games, 332, and then you could see it building, and then he had that tremendous second half of the season.
But there's a mental aspect that you have to get over as well. I mean, this is Robert's second major knee surgery that he's had to endure, and second rehab. So you do start thinking about it a little bit. And yet, even in preseason, he wanted to play. Mike Shanahan would not let him play, and probably justifiably so. But there is going to be a certain ramp-up period that's going to take place now.
Well, Dallas lets the clock run all the way down. They take a timeout. Washington might get back on the field here in a minute. But this one is over.
And you take away some of those special teams plays, the Washington Redskins defense probably a little better tonight than they'll get credit for, too.
So counting this game tonight, there you go. Philly and Dallas 3-3, and they meet next week in Philadelphia. Redskins now in a hole, but not as big a hole as the Giants have put themselves in, obviously. Fielded at the 9-yard line. Flag is down. Here's Morgan to the 16-yard line. Flag
during
down
the
to
kick,
41.
holding number 48, receiving team, half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. First down.
You know, Philadelphia is the other team you have to assume is going to keep getting better as they get more and more acclimated to Chip Kelly's offense.
Nick Foles.
Boy, Dallas in this defense, though, I've never seen a team this early in the season get hit so hard in one position. But I'll give Rod Marinelli credit. He has forced these guys to hustle every practice, every game. They don't even run wind sprints anymore because they run so hard in practice. And I really thought they would begin to fade by the end of the game. And you know what? They didn't. They hung right in there. Monty Kiffin has to be proud of this bunch.
They're going to have some fun in the film room this week because the line did great, and Marinelli we think is the guy who got the penalty.
The Kangaroo Court will be working him over pretty good.
For sure. He's prepared some stats. The flag goes down. What else is new? Already had 18 accepted penalties in the game.
Holding number 74, offense. 10-yard penalty. It's still first down.
So 6 seconds left. We said it was over, but for some people it's not quite over. It's 6 seconds left.
There's always drama in the NFL.
There's always drama.
Nice game by Sean Lee tonight.
Yeah.
Boy, they've really sort of established a leader, haven't they? Isn't it nice to have that guy in the middle of your defense that understands everything so well and makes plays both in the passing game and the running game, never comes off the field? It's a pretty rare linebacker these days.
And barring a penalty, this is going to take us to the end of the game. Jason Garrett and his team coming back after that brutal defeat last week. Redskins bye week and all of that. Go home 1-4. Meet Chicago next week. Dallas off to Philly. Battle for first in the NFC East. And the Wendy's post-game report coming away on the other side of the break.
Welcome to the Wendy's post-game report. Here now, Bob Costas.
Dallas 31, Washington 16. The Cowboys go to 3-3, tied with Philadelphia atop the division, and they play at Philadelphia next week. Washington, meanwhile, falls to 1-4. For the game balls and the portraits that will go up on the side of the Sunday Night Football bus, you got Dwayne Harris with a kickoff return of 90 yards, not for a TD. Punt return of 86 for a TD. Brandon Carr, terrific game, covering Pierre Garçon and Sean Lee, an outstanding performance at linebacker. All three, Harris, Carr, and Lee, are with Michelle.
What a defensive performance by the Cowboys tonight. Sean Lee, last week, 51 points. Tonight, such an overall effort. What changed?
We put a lot of work in this week. You know, we were disgraced with the performance we put out last week, and we made sure we would come out tonight and play well.
You know, your front four was so depleted, and then DeMarcus Ware goes out with the injury. How did you overcome all that?
You know, we have a lot of guys who have been working, you know, behind the scenes, trying to get better and better. They came in and made a ton of plays for us. It really was the difference in the game.
It really was. Congratulations. What a performance.
Thank you very much.
And let's go to Brandon Carr, who had the assignment, a tough one, of covering Pierre Garçon all night. How'd you do it?
Big challenge, man. You know, it's a lot of film study. Coach put me in the right position to make the plays. Just use my ability to go out there and have fun.
You know what? The last 2 weeks, this defense has struggled. Sean Lee just mentioned it. You were disgraced by last week's performance. What was the mindset as you prepared for this week?
Disappointing performance last week. You know, that bitter taste in our mouth. You know, everybody came to work with a chip on their shoulder, came out here ready to perform, and 60 minutes of hard work, 60 minutes of sticking together, we came out with a victory.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's turn to Dwayne Harris after the fist pump. 222 return yards on the night. Jason Garrett told us before the game, our special teams have to win that battle. How were you guys able to have so much success?
Oh, the guys in front, man, they believe in what Coach Rich Bisaccia is trying to do. You know, they make my job so much easier when they block. You know, and I give them all the praise for everything that happened in the special teams game. You know, we worked so hard at practice, and it shows in the game.
An 86-yard punt return for a touchdown put you guys up 14-3 going into halftime. What did you see as you were running it back?
Oh, man, I seen Brandon Carr. He doing a great job on the outside, you know, and he was blocking it tremendously. And then I seen Orlando coming around, and after that, it was just open space, and they did a great job in blocking for me, leading me to the end zone.
Terrific night for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bob?
Boy, it sure was. Thanks, Michelle. Let's bring in Tony Dungy from New York. Tony, your reaction to tonight's game?
Well, I think Dallas fans have to be happy. Dallas ownership, Jerry Jones, has to be happy because after all the talk with Tony Romo and moral victories and all that, they got a solid performance from all three phases. The defense really did what the defense is supposed to do, not give up big plays, play good red zone defense, get takeaways, and those special teams were fantastic. So this was a great overall win for the Cowboys.
All right, Tony, as just about everybody knows by now, next Sunday night, your old quarterback Peyton Manning returns to Indianapolis. By his standards, he struggled at times today against Jacksonville. A couple of touchdown passes, one pick, actually lost a couple of fumbles, though for the year he's got 22 touchdown passes and only 2 interceptions. Did the Colts learn anything at all from the game today that the Broncos played against the Jaguars that they can use next week?
I think they did. I think they saw the formula for slowing this Denver defense down. You've got to be able to get pressure on Peyton Manning without blitzing. And Jacksonville did that today. They got pass rush from their front four. I think the Colts will see the same type of thing and feel like Robert Mathis and some of their rushers can create this type of rush, and that is the way to slow this Denver offense down.
All right, Tony, thanks. The Broncos, nonetheless, go to 6-0. 2 unbeatens left in the league, Broncos and Chiefs. And, of course, as divisional foes, they'll play twice before the season is over. We turn now to Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. Mike, what's one of the big stories you'll be covering this week?
Well, Bob, the misery continues for the Houston Texans. They started 2-0. They've now lost 4 in a row. And the good news is this time it wasn't Matt Schaub's fault. The bad news, it was pretty much everybody else's fault. The defense, while stout, giving up only 216 yards, there were 95 total yards in penalties, 3 touchdown passes allowed, 4 turnovers, and a 38-13 blowout loss at home to the Rams. And Matt Schaub exited with an injury, lower leg, more tests to be conducted. I'm told we'll know more on Monday about his status. And we got to see what T.J. Yates can do replacing Matt Schaub, and it wasn't good. T.J. Yates continued the streak of games with pick sixes, 5 in a row now for the Texans. And the worst possible footnote, a guy they were very interested in, well, that they weren't interested in last year but was interested in them, Peyton Manning. He's now getting it done for the Denver Broncos, and he'll be in Indianapolis going home for the first time. Keep this in mind, though, with all the talk about Peyton Manning. Andrew Luck, 15 wins so far in his career. 9 of them have come via fourth-quarter comebacks. We'll see if he can do it again next week when Peyton comes to town.
We'll look forward to it. Thanks, Mike, for all that and more. Don't miss Mike Florio on Pro Football Talk, presented by Chevrolet, tomorrow at 5 on NBC SN. Again, the final, Dallas 31, Washington 16. And Al and Chris are back to wrap things up from Arlington after this.
Welcome back to the Wendy's post-game report. Here now, Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth.
And so that is the game next week. What a beauty that one will be. It's Denver at Indianapolis. And in a way, you might say Peyton's going back to the house that he built.
Yeah.
Because they had so much success. They were looking for a new stadium, and they were able to get it because the team was doing so well. They owe a lot of that to Peyton. And back he comes, and you couldn't have written a better script for next week's game.
No, and I think about guys like Antoine Bethea and Robert Mathis, who for all those years were never allowed to touch Peyton Manning, you know, on the defensive side. And now Robert Mathis at least came in, I think, as the #1 sacker in the National Football League. and he's going to get his shot at Peyton Manning. But what a reception that should be, you know, because he left there, and no one really knew for sure what was going to happen. But I would think the ovation he gets coming on the field is going to be one that you'll remember for a lifetime.
No question. On the other side of the field, of course, is a guy. I mean, last year you've got Griffin and Wilson and Kaepernick getting a lot of the publicity, and Cam Newton before that in his second year. And then Andrew Luck was kind of like, he's the other guy. Now Andrew Luck is becoming like the new guy.
Yeah, and Andrew Luck, for all that he does throwing the football, he's one of those move guys, too. Nobody really talks about his ability, but the more games of his that I watch, the more you see that scrambling ability. But what must he be thinking about going in, and Peyton Manning's going to be on the other sideline? All those questions he's had to answer about replacing Peyton, and now here he comes home.
Back home again in Indiana.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week from the Hoosier State on Sunday Night Football. Don't miss it. Football Night in America gets started at 7 Eastern Time. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoy, our entire gang headed by Fred Godelli, Drew Esikoff in the truck. Andy Freeland, as usual, doing a phenomenal job up here for us. And we'll talk to you next week from Indianapolis. Good night from Arlington, Texas.